Hello and welcome to the News at 5. I'm Olumide Macaulay. As the ongoing 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly enters its second day, Vice President Kashim Shettima is scheduled to deliver Nigeria's national statement at the event. His address is scheduled to take place between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. New York time, with multilateralism, UN reform, climate action, international finance restructure, amongst others, top on the agenda. The Vice President had joined other world leaders for the Assembly's opening session, where U.S. President Donald Trump delivered a keynote address formally welcoming the delegates. Our State House correspondent, Lanle Rasisi, who is in New York, had this report on these and other activities.
Our institution is a waste of money. Outdated.
It's the opening session of the 80th United Nations General Assembly, with world leaders gathered together once again to consider the state of world affairs and put forward their solutions to the challenges confronting countries.
2 world wars in a generation.
Though scheduled to speak on the second day, Vice President Kashim Shettima joined other world leaders for the session.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, people out there in the world watching us. Clearly, we have to do better. But what we should not let cynics allow to weaponize these failures.
Afterwards, the Vice President met with the President of Namibia, Nandi Ndaitwah, on the sidelines. Both leaders committed to deeper bilateral ties, with the Namibian leader praising Nigerian diplomats for their invaluable contributions to her government and country. In a separate high-level session, Vice President Shettima met with a delegation from the Gates Foundation, led by its CEO, Mark Sussman. He thanked the foundation for its support in healthcare, agriculture, and financial inclusion, while calling for expanded investment in Nigeria.
We have no option than to go. And now our foreign reserves has hit $42 billion. It's still little for a nation of Nigerians. But it's still better than why we made it. I can assure you that when President Tinubu, you have a partner that you can trust.
The Minister of Education also appealed for greater support in education.
The initial focus over the years had been on child and other part nutrition, but not in education. But now, I think there's more focus now in education. So we're seeking for more support in that area in the country, so to support our foundational education level.
Engagements also continued into the night as members of the Nigerian delegation considered the successes of attracting investment to the country.
Government is being run like an enterprise this time around. It's giving opportunities for nationals to come out, discuss who investors back to Nigeria. We've seen a lot of those initiatives in my state, most especially. I've been able to attract investment in agriculture.
And what we're doing is celebrating those investments and wanting to encourage.
The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau has said that its investigation into the recent Abuja-Kanu train derailment at Asham Station has revealed that poor maintenance and a faulty track switch were key factors behind the incident. According to preliminary findings, several sleepers at the station that had been damaged in previous incidents were only patched instead of being properly fixed. Investigators also found that the automatic switch mechanism at the station's crossing point was unserviceable at the time of the derailment, which is the second to occur at the same station within 13 months. As a result, the switch had to be manually operated and secured using a point clip, which was later discovered to be broken even. This compromised the entire integrity of the track alignment, leading to the derailment of the train. The report also noted that the personnel of the Nigeria Railway Corporation had received only initial training with no formal refresher courses, raising further concern about safety standards and preparedness. A special court-martial of the Nigerian Army in Maiduguri, Borno State, has sentenced 3 soldiers to life imprisonment and a 4th to 15 years for illegally selling arms in collaboration with police officers and terrorist groups. The trial at the officers' mess of the Theatre Command Headquarters in Maiduguri was presided over by the Acting General Officer Commanding 7th Division, Brigadier General Ugochukwu Onachukwu. Delivering the judgment, President of the Court-Martial, Brigadier General Mohammed Abdullahi, found the Sergeant Raphael Ame, Sergeant Ejiga Musa, and Lance Corporal Patrick Ocheje guilty of multiple offenses, including theft, unlawful dealing in ammunition, and aiding the enemy, all punishable under the Armed Forces Act. Sergeant Raphael Ame, who served as an armorer at the 7th Division Garrison, was found guilty of conspiring with a deceased colleague to steal ammunition from the division's armory. The court ruled that the action posed a direct threat to military operations and a national security issue, constituting a clear case of aiding the enemy. Survivors of the attack in Bindi Jebu community in Riyom local government of Plateau State are still calling for improved security in the area. 2 months ago, armed men invaded the community, killing 27 people during a midnight attack. The victims were buried in a mass grave amid tears, and the survivors are urging the federal government to come to their aid. Staying with security, the police says it's recognized the importance of community cooperation during difficult times, especially in tackling communal conflict, insurgency, threats or natural disaster like the flooding affecting farming communities. The disclosure was made by the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 3, Mr. Akinwale Adeniro, during an interaction with stakeholders and officers of the Adamawa State Police Command in Yola, the state capital. According to the police boss, the police rely on information and support of citizens, including traditional and religious leaders, to provide solutions to security problems.
The newly posted Assistant Inspector General of Police, Mr. Akinwale Adeniran, is at the headquarters of the Adamawa State Police Command to interact with officers and men of the command and to engage critical stakeholders as he pushes for community policing. He is received by the State Police Commissioner and other senior officers. He inspects a guard of honor before proceeding for the interactive session. In his welcome address, the police commissioner, Mr. Maurice Dankwambo, applauds the efforts of the command in maintaining peace in the state.
Today, I can say that the good people of Adamawa State sleep with their 2 eyes closed. This achievement couldn't have been possible without the tireless effort of our officers and men, stakeholders, community leaders, and the state government in particular, under the able leadership, stewardship of His Excellency Right Honorable Dr. Ahmadu Umaru Fintri, CON.
Other stakeholders appreciate the contribution of the police in the state's peace project.
The police, as I always say, are not spirits. They need information, credible information. And we in the PCRC have been trying our best to provide such information to the police.
We as members of the community will have to offer credible intelligence reports, information on the criminals, so that the police will now flush them out.
The state government is delighted for the cordial relationship the police enjoy in the state.
Our relationship with the police in Adamawa is cordial. We are always working hand in hand to make sure that our people are living in peace.
In his address, the Assistant Inspector General of Police speaks on his vision for policing the zone.
To strengthen the cordial relationship between the police and the Police Community Relations Committee, which continue to serve as a vital bridge between the force and the people. to deepen collaboration between the police and the good people of Adamawa State in addressing crime such as farmer-herders clashes, kidnapping, drug abuse, and other emerging security challenges.
The message by the police is clear: to save and protect lives and property, and to uphold justice, which requires the support of all citizens.
The Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Assev, has disclosed that the federal government has begun the construction of mega dams across the country for sustainable power and irrigation. The minister made the disclosure in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, during the distribution of irrigation pumping machines and other empowerment items. He explained that the idea behind the construction is to ensure all year-round farming and animal feed cultivation as part of the solution to the farmer-herder conflict.
Beneficiaries of the President Bola Tinubu Empowerment Outreach in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, converge on the residence of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. George Akume. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, who is leading the presidential engagement, arrives in company of party leaders and officials. They are received by folk singers and women who celebrate the opportunity. The minister shed light on the plans by the administration of President Tinubu to address food security and end violent conflicts.
We have a program which is coming on board to our dear country, which is called the Sustainable Power and Irrigation for Nigeria. This program is the main purpose of this program is to rehabilitate Zams and SARS problem. And those ones, the new ones, are this construction. When this is being done, we are going to irrigate our crops, also going to irrigate our feeds, to feed people that has cattle, so that the issue of conflict between farmers and herders will be put to rest.
The items include 150 irrigation pumping machines and 150 motorcycles to support agro-allied businesses, 240 grinding and sewing machines, cars and communication gadgets.
We have about 150 irrigation pumps that we want to distribute to our women, our youth that are into irrigation farming. We also have 120 grinding machines for our women that are into entrepreneurship, to empower them, to encourage them, to boost their business.
One after the other, he presents the items to the beneficiaries.
Talking about voters' education, you need to move around, and I think for that purpose, he has given opportunity to move from one ward to another, polling to another, to encourage people.
The party leaders used the occasion to pass a vote of confidence on the president and endorsed him for a second term in office.
The names are not available.
And now to the health sector, where the Lagos State government, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health through the National AIDS and Sexually Transmitted Infections STIs Control Program, has announced plans to commence the Nigeria state-level AIDS antiretroviral therapy impact survey in Lagos next month. The exercise, which was disclosed by the Lagos State Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, during a press conference in Ikeja, Dr. Olusegun Ogboye, says the survey will cover 205 randomly selected enumeration areas with about 6,150 households. Dr. Ogboye also says the data collection will provide valuable insight that will inform health policy and strategies to enhance HIV testing, treatment, and care services in Lagos State.
The antiretroviral impact survey is designed to assess the effectiveness of the HIV and AIDS response in Lagos State. The data collected will help us understand three key outcomes. One, the number of people living with HIV who have been identified, How many of these identified are receiving life-saving antiretroviral treatment? And then thirdly, among those on treatment, how many have achieved viral suppression? The objective of the survey is in twofold: to measure population-based HIV treatment coverage, which involves assessing the proportion of individuals living with HIV who are receiving life-saving antiretroviral therapy, and to determine the prevalence of viral load suppression. This will help us understand the percentage of individuals on HIV treatment who have achieved viral load suppression. The survey will be conducted between October and December 2025. During the survey, only males and females who are between the ages of 15 to 64 years will be interviewed. The survey will be conducted in about 6,150 households across all the 20 LGAs in the state, during which approximately 11,354 people will be interviewed. Our trained field teams, comprised of healthcare professionals, will visit households to collect information through interviews. The teams will offer HIV counseling and testing with rapid test kits, and the test results will be provided before the team leaves the house.
Welcome to Business News. Reactions are continuing to trail the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee's interest rate cut decision at the end of the two-day meeting in Abuja on Tuesday. The Managing Director of a financial services company, Optimum Global Capital, Mr. Anosi Kimalo, who was a guest on our Business Morning program earlier today, said the reduction in the MPR is expected to spur economic growth and drive more competition amongst Nigerian banks.
Technically, before, the CBN was going to give out money at 27.5 plus 5, which is 32.5. Now they're saying they're going to give it out at 27 plus 2.5, that's 29.5. So that's a whole about 300, basis points coming down. And so definitely this should have some impact in terms of borrowing costs. Now, not the largest, but definitely would have some impact. And like I said, the main thing here is the messaging, which is to say that rates are going to possibly continue to come down. So what's going to happen is that the banks are going to have to try to lend at higher rates. So you're going to see a bit of competition to sort of lock in rates. So you would see people already lending sub-MPR. I mean, that was already happening even when it was 27.5, particularly for the large and more prime borrowers anyway. So you are also going to begin to see that come down even further.
The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, the NUPRC, has revoked its earlier approval for French oil major TotalEnergies to divest its minority stake in Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited, SPDC. According to Petroleum Industry Regulators spokesperson Eniola Akinkuto, who made this known to journalists, the move comes after both parties failed to meet their financial commitment following repeated extensions. The decision marks which deals a setback to the company's plans to shed aging assets and cut debt, marks another twist in the ongoing wave of divestment by international oil companies seeking to exit onshore operations in Nigeria's Niger Delta. In July 2024, TotalEnergies announced an agreement to sell its 10% stake in SPDC to Mauritius-based Chapal Energies, and this was granted approval by the NUPRC in October last year, subject to strict financial conditions. Now, in a bold move to regulate the burgeoning digital lending sector and protect consumers, the Bank of Ghana has reportedly proposed a 2 million minimum capital requirement for digital lenders. This measure forms part of a broader set of regulatory reform aimed at bringing digital credit services under stricter oversight. Under the new regulation, digital lenders will need to meet various licensing and operational conditions. Amongst them is a capital floor of 2 million for entities wishing to offer digital credit services. This requirement is intended to weed out undercapitalized and potentially predatory operators and to ensure that only financially stable players operate in that space. The organizers of the Game on Africa tournament have unveiled plans for a groundbreaking youth football competition aimed at discovering and nurturing under-19 talent across Nigeria and Ghana. The tournament will hold from October 4th in Nigeria and October 7th in Ghana. In Nigeria, it will take place across 4 states: Lagos, Abuja, Imo, and Enugu. The Nigeria finals will hold in Enugu, where a team will be selected to represent the country against their Ghanaian counterparts. The winners between Nigeria and Ghana will then advance to the UK for further exposure.
Whoever wins, whether it's the Ghana GOAT or the Nigerian GOAT, we are planning next year, around May, during the FA, to take the winners to England. That's another exchange, so that they go to England and experience football culture.
This tournament is designed to create opportunities for the young generation footballers. That is why we are going to the under-19, because we feel that that is where the good legs are. People that actually don't know that left and right in football are mostly in the under-19. So how do we bring them in? It's through this tournament to expose them, to expose that skill.
And that's it on the News at 5. Thank you for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay.